All right, let's go. We're here. We're here. Let me crack this window. I left the heater on too long. There we go. Okay, that's better. A little bit of oxygen. All right. Hey, Colin says there's a report saying the Panthers could trade for. Why would we want Tarasenko? What are we gonna? Well, okay. So let's think about that for a minute. Okay. Barkov, Reinhardt, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, Samaskevich, Lundell, Tarasenko, Luosterainen, Bolquist with Greer and Rodriguez. Nosek off the bench as 4C depth, or Nosek, Rodriguez, and Bolquist. I don't know why we would do it that way, but that's interesting. Who's the report? What's the report? Who's it from? Is it from a viable source, or is it the puppets? Because the puppets, hey Chopper, the puppets they don't always get it right. You know what I mean? And a couple people here said Tarasenko's washed anyway. I like what we got. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna play defense on Puck Empire? Huh. You never know. I also saw something on Puck Empire a few months ago that said Ekblad would get $10 million a year. So there's that. Tarasenko might be coming back. Friedman. What are we doing? Why would we want it? I mean, I'm going to assume that would be for next to Lundell, right? And then you'd put Bolquist and Rodriguez on the third line. Hey, NHL, or are we going to move Luosterainen down? Yeah, Puck Empire just compiles news from several sources, right? Well, we'll see. Friedman's usually pretty accurate. I mean, he's not going to be in the top 6. So if you went Lundell, Tarasenko, Luosterainen, that leaves you Bolquist and Rodriguez on the bottom line. Hey, Matthew. Chopper says Tarasenko has 7 goals and 15 assists. Well, he's not going to be in the 4th line, right? So, I mean, I suppose that does add depth to the 4th line if you put Tarasenko on the 3rd line, because then you could have Bolquist and Rodriguez down there. NHL says, I think Florida trading for Tarasenko is stupid. Detroit's going to be competing. They're going to want something other than chump change for him. That too. That doesn't seem to be. I don't know. I mean, in a weird way, I get it, because it does move. It does move some depth to the 4th line. Chopper says, personally, I think we should go for Jake Evans, but apparently Montreal wants a second. Yeah. Damien says, I saw on NHL headlines, Casey Middlestaff or Sam Bennett will receive Carolina's 2nd-round pick. No. We can't go trade in Bennett. Bennett is one of those guys, if we trade, you can forget the cup. This can't happen. Not at this point in the season. That can't happen. No. I mean, how much money could he want? We've got the money to pay him. Hey, thank you, Matthew. Appreciate that, bud. Appreciate that, Matthew. Thanks, my friend. Well, we'll see. Colin says, I think it'd be funny to see Vladdy back, but I don't think it'll happen. I mean, I guess it just depends on what teams are asking for for some of the fourth line guys. You know, I mean, if we're going to try it, there's more than one way to solve the problem, right? Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, we can sign McCarr next year, right? What if we had Kane on the team? I mean, any top 9 forward, you've got to move Boquist. I would assume. I mean, Boquist is already down when we're healthy. So then you'd be talking about having Boquist and Rodriguez, I assume, unless you're going to move Luosterainen down. Are you going to go Lundell, Tarasenko, Rodriguez, and then move Luosterainen to 4C and have Luosterainen, Greer, Boquist with Nosek off the bench? That could happen, I suppose. Right? Matthew says, I live in Davie, don't see people with a lot of Panther stuff on. How's the merchandise down there? Is it? I know when I used to be down there, like in Melbourne, you go to the store, there's no Panthers merchandise anywhere in the store. I assume that, because we won the cup, that is merchandise down there now. Meadow says Vlad would have to take a bag of nuts and a Publix gift card. Well, Detroit would have to eat whatever salary is there, right? NHL says, honestly, if I'm Bill Zito, I wouldn't change much. Bring in a depth piece, but don't spend too much. Team has the right amount of depth for a run. I trade maybe Nosek at most. Well, we have 12. We have 12. But in terms of depth off the bench, we do need a guy at least, maybe 2. Unless, I guess if you get somebody like Tarasenko, you throw him on the third line. Like I said, you can move guys down. Magic says it's a lot more now, but still lacking. Yeah, hockey is still not football, right? Hey, Kenneth, how you doing, bud? He says, every skit video, Ekblad gets more and more money. Why does he not like the channel? Yeah, I gave him a raise. Damian, you want Kane for the... No, that wouldn't. Why would you want to move Samoskevich away from Bennett and Kachuk? Samoskevich is going to be a big piece. Matthew says you'd love to go. You care more about the future than this year. Would love to go far in the playoffs. Well, yeah, I don't want to give up a bunch of pieces. That's for sure. I mean, hearing about Tarasenko, that's a weird one. That really is. I just wonder with Luosterainen struggling and not really scoring, if they're considering moving him down to the 4th line. All right, Chopper, hold on. Personally, I think that we would trade for if we would trade for someone, it has to be Ryan Donato before his trade value is jacked up beyond belief, or some other team gets him. I mean, it could be a situation where, we want to make sure, because if you're going to give up assets for a guy like Donato, you're going to want to have a chance of re-signing him, right? He's a young, decent piece. I'm sure they want a good price for him, which would mean we'd want to give him a contract. And Bennett, Ekblad, Samoskevich, I think that's it. I mean, we got to re-sign some defensemen and everything like that. But that could be one reason why we would not do it if we didn't think that we could re-sign him. Amy says we make our own kid line with Mackey, Lundell, and Luosterainen. We tried that before, Damian. Mackey needs scorers to dish the puck to. You got Lundell, who's not exactly a sniper. You got Luosterainen, who couldn't score in a paper bag. And that's a waste of Mackey's talent, in my opinion. Yeah, you think Chicago wants a boatload? Yeah, I can't blame them, right? I mean, yeah, I hope so too. NHL. I mean, he's just not. Unfortunately, as he might have tapped out offensively. He developed nicely. Definitely a fantastic bottom six piece. The guy that you want on your team. Kills penalties with Lundell. Definitely wouldn't want to get rid of him. But I could see where, they might want a little bit more offense out of that third line. I guess it just depends on, if there's nothing really out there for the fourth line, you improve the third line, move the third line down, guys down. Hey, Ted. Colin says Samuel's is a better, more clutch version of Huberdeau, so Samuel's not going anywhere. Yeah, no, the kid's passing. We're in good shape there. Kenneth, what are my thoughts on the break? What do we got hockey tomorrow, right? Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see the difference between how the teams that had, like how the Panthers got a lot of players. It'll be interesting to see the difference between how the teams that had a lot of players in the tournament come back from the break versus the guys that, the teams that just basically had nobody or one player and everybody's been, at the Coco Cabana for 2 weeks. Yeah. It's a bit long, but then again, with the tournament in the middle, you had to give guys some kind of off time, right? I mean, they did a good job of spacing out the tournament games, I believe. I think there's 2 days where there's 2 games. What's tomorrow? Is it just the one game tomorrow? Let me see. Yeah, and Kenneth, I agree there 100%. I agree there 100%. Let me see the Four Nations tournament schedule. Let's see. So, yeah, tomorrow is just the one game. Canada versus Sweden at 8. Thursday's just the one game. USA versus Finland at 8. And then Saturday, the 2 games. And then Monday, the 2 games. And then Thursday's the championship. And then we play 2 games after that. So I would anticipate the championship being the Panthers versus Canada, but that's a different story. No, USA probably versus Canada. All right, Matthew. Yeah, no, it did, Kenneth. You're right about the back-to-backs, no doubt. Now, looking at the Panthers' schedule, I actually kind of like what they did to us now because the front end of our schedule was nasty. We're still in first place. If you look at the Panthers' March schedule, we got days off galore. Now, we close heavy in April, but that's a good run up to the playoffs. But in March, there's definitely going to be time for guys to get rested and recuperate. We've got a couple of times with 2 days off. We've got one time with 3 days off, one time with 4 days off. Ted, I thought every team had a player in the tournament, Ted. I don't know if it changed, if people backed out or got hurt, but I would assume every team has a player. Am I wrong there? Honestly, yeah, they have Reinhardt on the top line with McDavid, right? Yeah, the All-Star game is meh. Four Nations will be better, but creates a lot of back-to-backs. What's the happy medium? Well, I mean, they could always just start the season a week earlier, right? I don't think anybody would complain about that. I can think the Panthers, some of the teams, you You get to October 15th, some of the teams have only played like 1, maybe 2 games. Move it back to October 1st so you don't have to condense it so much. I don't think teams would complain too much about that. You don't want to make it run long because then you'd be playing Stanley Cup Final in July. Chopper, I would assume at some point they'll be on the ice at the same time, but I get why they wouldn't put them on the same line because they like to compete against each other. So if you have them on the same line, they're just going to be fighting over who takes the shots. This way, Chucky gets a goal. Brady wants to answer. Chucky wants to answer. I get it. Plus, it's the obvious thing that everybody wants to see, and it's the NHL. So by default, they're going to do the opposite, right? It's like trying to watch the games now. I need 5 different streaming services just to see all the games. Everybody's in the same boat unless you guys live down there. But if you're out of market and you want to see your team, they make it as difficult as possible on us to watch the games now, where it used to be really easy. And then they're all wondering why the ratings are down, why less people are watching this. Well, because you got stuff blacked out all over the place, you dumbasses. Make it easier for people to watch. And shocking, people will watch. I should not have, as much as I appreciate it, there should not be people watching Kyle and I on the stream because it's the only way they can get the game without doing a pirate stream. That people should be able to watch the damn games that they want to watch. I appreciate that people come, for sure. But not every team's got somebody that live streams the game. I don't know how many teams have guys that live stream every single game. I don't honestly know the answer to that question. If there are people that do it, and YouTube doesn't show it in my feed, I can tell you that much. That's okay though. But Reinhardt with McDavid, that's going to be nasty. That is going to be a beautiful thing. And we'll get Chucky and Brady for sure. I'm sure. Kenny says, lucky I've been able to watch along with your Panthers games on Sportsnet in Canada. They got it covered. Yeah, it's very, very it's just all depends on where you live. It's crazy. Hey, Janaya said Oilers and Panthers going to face off in the final round once again, both respectively leading their divisions. Janaya, I would not be surprised at all if that happens. That would make for some good TV, though. You want to talk about the ratings go up, you get a rematch. When's the last time we had a Stanley Cup rematch? 2 years in a row. Anybody know the answer to that question? When's the last time we had a rematch 2 years in a row? I mean, you probably got to go back a while, hey? Probably got to go back a while. That's a good question. Somebody find that out. Detroit Pits. It's not even possible anymore, right? It's not even possible anymore because they're in the same damn conference. So when was that? What let's see. Was that when was that? That's a while ago, right? That was definitely during the Panthers' dead years. 08, 09. Yeah, that was really the dead years. Yeah, so it's been like 15 years. It's been like 15 years since we had that matchup's not even possible anymore, right? Because of realignment again. Well, that's a little bit different, Kenneth. Don't be a smartass. Let's try to avoid the COVID realignment, right? Let's try to avoid that again. That's for sure. I says all Canada final would be Wild Leafs versus Oilers. That would mean the Leafs beat the Panthers in the second round of the playoffs. I don't like that matchup. Again, it's just I'm always a smart ass. Oh man. Good point though. Good point. That's just randomly, right? I mean, that was Price's last stand, right? He got hurt after that, right? That was so sad watching him not go out, watching him kind of go out just like that way. Meadow says, if Edmonton plays any other team other than Florida, would I hope for them to win? No. If it was the Toronto-Edmonton finals, I would root for Toronto. Yeah. If it was the Toronto-Edmonton finals, I would root for the Leafs because, my God, those poor fans, I don't think that they could handle getting all the way there and losing. Although, McDavid losing 2 years in a row, the Oilers would beat the crap out of the Leafs anyway, so it wouldn't matter. How did the Leafs get there anyway? The Leafs beat Ottawa or the Lightning, and then the Panthers, and then the Capitals or the Devils or the Hurricanes. Come on now. I says I want the Jets to win if Florida doesn't for Maurice. That's another way to look at it. Just depends on who makes it, right? If Panthers don't win, what about the Jackets? What about the Cinderella Jackets? That would be something. Vincent says Rantanen and Tarasenko would occupy the same cap hit. I'm confused now. Oh, wait, because all the salary was already... Did they retain? Who retained? I'm confused by your comment, Vincent. I'm definitely confused by that comment. You'll have to say it in old man English for me. But Panthers are making it back anyway. On the members podcast today, I go over the Athletic had that poll where they went over with the fans who to think right now, who's going to win the Cup, who's going to win the Hart, Rocket, all the different. They asked like 12 different questions. I went over that real quick on the members podcast today. So Hawks retained half of Rantanen already. That's right. That's right. That's right. But what would Carolina fleece us for? Why would Carolina do that? Plus, we can't sign Rantanen, right? I mean, wait a minute. I mean, if you if you go real cheap on defense, Vincent, right? If you take Ekblad 7.5 away and Rantanen would take 12, now you need 4.5 more. If you sent Rodriguez to Carolina and you didn't re-sign Ekblad, you'd have the money to sign Rantanen. Vincent, but I'm just saying, if we're going to give up what we'd have to give up, we'd want to be able to re-sign him. Just saying, letting Ekblad go and sending Rodriguez in the deal, we'd have the money to give Rantanen 12. Would he stay in Florida for 12? I know it was a joke. I know. I'm just saying, imagine, Ekblad and Rodriguez for Rantanen. That's basically what I'm saying. I mean, who says no? Who says no? Right? We don't need defense. We won't need any defense. There's 6 goals a game. It'll probably end up the same way Carolina's in, where it's just not working out for them. One more on start the Rantanen crap. Oh, Bente, I know. We're just playing. We're just playing. We don't need to bust up our salary caps up for 12. Damien says, yeah, and just sign McCarr at the same time, right? Brandon spends a week around the Panthers' fins, and who knows, right? Yeah. Well, I don't know about the Tarasenko thing. The only thing that makes sense is that you can move, somebody down from the third line to solidify the fourth line. But we're already having trouble defensively. I don't really feel like weakening that third line defensively. I don't know why that would be a thing. It wouldn't make any sense. And I got to put him on the fourth line. Metal says apparently there's some ginger in Philadelphia we could get. Wouldn't that be something? Right? We'd have to spend another first on them. Right? We'd have to spend another first on them, right? That would be 3 firsts on the same dude. Chopper says, don't care. Brady and the Panthers give Ottawa 3 prospects and just for Boquist. Oh, it never happened that easy. I know we already got Drew, right. Well, we drafted Owen with a 1. We gave up a 1 and Owen to get Giroux, and then we'd have to give up another 1 from Philly to get him back. Yeah, the other ginger, yeah. Oh, which ginger were you talking about, Metal? It's a good point. Which ginger were you talking about? I forgot about Giroux. I forgot about that. Pente says, well, if Rantanen is okay with only getting $10 million, then I would give it serious thought, but still a player like Yanni Gordon on offense or Slavin is a type in D. Yeah, I agree. I agree there, Pente. Those are actually pretty good names. I agree. Yeah. Well, I think it's just going to depend on the price. Why are we looking at Tarasenko? I mean, and why would Detroit want to give him up? Vincent says, my point is, if we're getting a pure rental, Rantanen is a better player than Vladdy. Plus, he would buy for the price of a rental, so Carolina's screwed either way. Yeah, I mean, Carolina, I don't know what they were thinking. You would have thought they would have had a conversation with him before they finished the deal, like the Panthers did with Tkachuk. Pente says he's a good goal scorer, but he needs others to make the plays. No thanks. Yeah, I mean, he was decent. He was decent with us, but it's not really the top need that this team has right now. The Vincent, I mean, what would Carolina want? I mean, I get what you're saying about him just being a rental, but you'd still be, there's no way we'd get him for, I mean, we don't have a 1. We got a 1 next year or whatever. Kane for a second. If he's going to play in the third line, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Lundell with Rodriguez and Luosterainen. I mean, we won a cup with those dudes, right? It just, unless you're going to make the fourth line like Rodriguez or, Boquist, Rodriguez, and Luosterainen, and you're going to do something else with the third line, I mean, that could make sense a little bit, but you still got to have players that are going to play the system, right? Yeah, I agree, Pente. Kenneth says, who would win a trade between Carolina and Calgary at this point? Yeah, right? Duh. I mean, the amazing part with Carolina is that they already did this last year with Gensel. It don't make any sense that they just tried to say. You would have thought after last year that they would have said, hey, Miko, can we make a deal here? Can we talk some numbers before the trade is done so we know for sure? How do you do that again? I says the Panthers Facebook just shared Panthers Valentine's Day cards. Oh, that's right. Oh, I got to get my parents something. Oh, crap. My parents' 49th anniversary is Valentine's Day. At least it's not 50. I'll get them. Kyle will get them. We'll get them some kind of dinner certificate. Bente says, I get that he's Patrick Kane, but still a hard no. No, I'd really rather just fix the fourth line. I'd rather add some depth to the fourth line. I like what we got because we got really a top 10 because you can flip Rodriguez or Boquist in and out as need be. I don't know that I want to mess with it all that much. Rodriguez was big for us in the playoffs last year. So Luosterainen too. Maybe not a ton of goals. NHL says, I don't think the Cats get a big name at the deadline. Teams will ask too much for them. A potential good piece for Florida would be Eklund, who the Sharks might be selling. Panthers, Valiant, you're my Reinhardt. Jamie says, Yanni Gordon on the fourth line. Yeah, that'd be some nice depth. Zetterlund and Jake Wallman for Nosek Schmidt in the fourth. Vincent said, Rodriguez big, Moose is bigger. That's true. It's true. Well, watch us get we're going to get Nola Chari and Erica Branson or something like that. See how many of you threw up in your mouth. What? There's an Ekblad Valentine too who says this one's going to you, Jaws. Bender says Johnny Gordon's a top 6 guy in your eyes. Well, you're not wrong, but on our team, I don't think we're going to disturb the top 6. I really don't. You want to put him on a third line, move somebody down, that's fine. But I don't think we're going to disturb the top 6. It's just all about the price you can get them, right? It really is just all about the price you can get them. That's going to determine where you want to slot them in your lineup. There's going to be a lot of teams in the East, though, going after guys. NHL says Gordon was a third liner on Tampa. I'm pretty sure he's the top player for a bottom 6. Yeah, so if you want to move Luosterainen down, right? But I mean, it just gives us all that flexibility. I mean, it's like Rodriguez. Is he a top 6? Is he a bottom 6? He's kind of doesn't matter where you put him, he does well. He fits in. His birthday is August 22nd. I'll be 54 the end of this summer. I'm still closer to 50 than 60. Yeah, exactly, Penta. You can play Gord anywhere. I mean, that's why I think it's a good name because, maybe he has to start off third or fourth line because there's no spots. But, game 4, somebody gets dinged and they're going to be out a couple of games. Gord can go up there and you're good to go. You know what I mean? You're talking about going on a long playoff run. It only matters a little bit where you're going to slot in some of those guys. Rodriguez is going to be all over the place. Boquist, Gord would be the same type of player. Gord, Kachuk, and Bennett, right? Yeah, there's a lot of guys you can imagine with Kachuk and Bennett, right? There's no doubt there. No doubt there. Oh, we'll see. As long as we don't give up too much, right? Bente says if I would have Zito's number, I would be calling him daily to get Yanni. So let's see. Let me see something. Put the glasses on here. Oh, my phone blew up here. What the heck's going on? Why doesn't his name come up? There you go. Come on. How many Yannis should there be? He's not even that old. He's still only 33. That can't be his salary. Google has his salary as $600,000. Come on now. What's his minutes? He's getting 15 and a half minutes a night. So what's he on the third line in Seattle? Second, third line? Has he been hurt? He's only played 35 games. Hey, is he hurt? Because Gord's last game is January 2nd. Yanni Gord injury. Not that. Hold on a second. Currently on IR. Thank you, Vincent. Yeah, let me see what the injury was. So if he's hurt, that's probably not a good idea unless you're stashing him. Oh, shit. He had surgery for a sports hernia in January. He's supposed to be out 5 to 7 weeks. No thanks. 33 years old, sports hernia. Nope. Unfortunately, that's a sign of the end of the times for Yanni, unfortunately. So we could scratch that. We could scratch him off the list. Damn it. It sounded good for a minute. Guys get old quick. You know what I mean? I mean, Rodriguez is 30 or 31. He's at least 30. You know, he looks like a kid. No, it's okay, Pente. It is what it is. I didn't know either. You know, if it was, I hurt a shoulder or something, that's one thing. But sports hernia, could be out 2 months. You're basically looking at a guy who might come back for the playoffs and you don't know where he's been, the shape he's in, unfortunately. Trade for Mark Stone, put him on LTIR. Damian, the only problem with Mikko, I mean, sure, we'd love to have him for 5 minutes, but can you imagine that phone call? In fact, I should do a skit. Can you imagine the phone call when Bill Zito calls the Canes, who, if the Canes are thinking they're going to go to the Stanley Cup final, there's at least a 50% chance that they have to deal with the Panthers. You imagine what they would charge us for Mikko? Hey, Rosado, she's in the middle of a game right now. I should have got a notification for Joe on the Islanders. All right, Chopper, hold on. I can't. My laptop can't do that, Rosado. I mean, I can't put the game on. I'll put the score. I see what you're saying. How old is Pajot? He's 32. Got bad memories of some of these guys. Salaries $5 million. Yeesh. I don't need that. What's he doing? 10 goals. I mean, you're talking fourth line. He's playing 16 and a half minutes. That's not fourth line. What is he playing, the third line? Yeah, Pente, we agree there for sure. We agree there for sure in terms of Rantanen. I don't know why Carolina did that. And Nietzsche was such a good player for them. And yeah, the problem with Pajot is this. I mean, his salary is $5 million. Is that accurate? No, that can't be accurate. Hold on. Boy, the information that you get immediately is wrong. No, that's accurate. He forget about Pajot. He's got a cap hit of $5 million, and he's still got term. He's still signed for next season. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's $5 million. Yeah. God dang, they got some old dudes, man. What about Zegras? Zegras, same thing. 3-year cap hit, 5.75 with term, 1 more year after this year. Nope. I says, FYI, an Ekblad cameo video went down from 300 to 250. That's a good sign. He would take less money to re-sign. That's funny. Hey, Craig. Yeah. Yeah, we were wondering about that with Vladdy. Bender says it was a stupid move from Carolina, but there's been talks for years that Nish just wants out. He would have left the Canes after the season. So I get that. I can get that part. But they did the same. I mean, they traded a guy they're going to get nothing for a guy they're going to get nothing for. Right? Yeah, Nishis is doing well in Colorado. Kenneth says Jaw's going to look back in 20 years and see himself balking at $5 million. It's going to be below 20. It's going to be below minimum in 20 years. No joke. No joke about that. Yeah. But, you know, the $5 million is for our cap purposes. Even if they eat half, we only have like 3.5 in cap for the trade deadline. So if somebody gets 5, they eat half. You know, we'd almost be looking at a 3-way deal to make that work. Let me look there in NHL. I got this loaded up now so I can. Let's see. Well, that's interesting. This is definitely an interesting contract. NHL. He signed a 7-year deal at $3 million per. He's signed through the 29-30 season when he'll be 34 years old. Damn. I mean, what? Oh, wait. No, did they waive him? Hold on a second. Did they waive him? Because I'm seeing an article here where they waived him. Did he get picked up? This was from last October. Did Islanders waive Engvall with $18 million left on contract and Stunner? Did he must be in the minors then? He must yeah, a few times. Yes, they did. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he's in New York's American Hockey League in the AHL, the Bridgeport Islanders. Well, there you go. You say no, he's up playing on the 4th line? All right, so they're bringing him up and down and whatever, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean the information is all old. So they must have brought him up. I go for that, Pente, but you know, I go for that for sure. For sure. Ekblad for Svechnikov. I mean, Carolina is stupid. I'm going back to read. Oh, you want? Chopper says, imagine if Brandon goes back to the Avs after this season when he becomes a UFA. Right? Or if Vegas picks him up. if Vegas was to get him from Carolina. That's what I think is going to happen. Is a Western Conference team is going to make Carolina an offer so that they can save some skin a little bit, right? Tell us a joke or something. Don't forget Friday's Valentine's Day. That's my joke. All y'all with wives, girlfriends, all that stuff, moms, daughters, all the thing. I get my mom still sends me Valentine's Day cards in the mail. I got it yesterday. Love you, Mom. You know, I don't do cards because they're like $8. They're like $6 or $8 for cards. Greg says, yeah, Vancouver. Oh my God, right? Yeah. Somebody from the West is going to offer Carolina, be like, hey, we don't want you to, we feel bad. We feel bad for it, you know? How about a first and this kid over here down the street? And there's going to be collusion among the Western Conference teams to give Carolina as little as possible. Kenneth, yeah, the Islanders are in bad shape right now. Chopper says, with the hole that the Canes have on their defense, we send Ekblad to Carolina and bring back Roslovic and Slavin. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not. When I say I don't do cards, I mean I don't go to the store and buy the cards. I send the online stuff. Kyle makes a lot of cards by himself, and then I just sign it. You know what I mean? What do you want? Huh? I got my things that I do, and I got my things that I don't do. The cards are just too damn expensive. I mean, it's insane. And if you got a bunch of kids, Christmas, I can't imagine what people spend on cards. The chicken chuck puppet. Let's see. I don't know if I'm signed in to eBay or not. Hold on. Let me look. Let's see. Where are we? What's today? Tuesday? When did we buy that? I'm signed in, so that's good. Let's see. Chicken chuck. Track package. Arriving. Damn, it's not going to be here for another week? Why is it taking so long? Oh, because it's coming from San Francisco. Well, that figures. So let me look at the tracking. Yeah, expected delivery is not until next week. So I'll have it. I'll have it before. Oh man, I might not have it for the Four Nations Championship game. Maybe I'll get it Monday. Maybe I'll get it early. No, wait, the championship game is the 20th, right? Yeah, I'll have it. I'll have it. So if the United States is in the finals, then I had the chicken chuck puppet for the finals. You know, your chicken comes from Kentucky. Chopper says Pedersen confirmed today that he will not be traded. Dollar store cards. That's a good point. Well, dollar store, not Dollar General. Dollar General is stupid prices now. Bente says, so they need, what was another one? Hold on a second. Yeah, can you imagine imagine you have all three all-star players, you trade them all, Miller, Pedersen, Hughes, horrible job by the Canucks. Well, look at what the Flames did. I mean, they had Gaudreau and Tkachuk and Lomberg, by the way. They got Lomberg back. That's the guy they get back, right? Right? They and you know, I mean, Huberdeau's having a nice little year. Uyghur's not terrible. He's decent enough, but Svechnikov cap hit is 7.5, so it's even, huh? That's interesting. NHL says, do I think Chicken Chuck will come out in Four Nations making him play conservatively to avoid injuries or pissing off his Panther teammates? All of the no's. So on the members podcast last week, NHL, I reviewed a article that was an interview with Chucky and some of the Panthers about the Four Nations. And the long story short is that Barkov himself even expects Chicken Chuck to be around hitting people, including people on his own team. He says he doubts Chucky holds back anything. And Chucky's basic response was, "That sounds about right." That's the general interpretation. So Rieger had really good stats last year. Yeah, he's okay. He's not bad, right? He's decent, but they ain't gonna make the playoffs. We got the cup. We've been to the cup twice. It was not a fair deal in the end. I felt bad for Calgary fans. I really did. Because I read what Calgary's media was saying about Jonathan Huberdeau when that went down. And I just oh, you poor people are about to find out that that's not true. They were selling Huberdeau as some guy that was going to come over and take the team over and put the team on his back and lead them. No, that is not. Huberdeau's a lot of things, but that's not one. Vincent says Tkachuk talks a lot, just saying. I know, but it was Barkov that said it, Vincent. They asked Barkov who would be the first guy to start hitting, and he said Tkachuk. So I get what you're saying, but I was surprised. The way Barkov said it kind of made me think maybe a couple times in practice, Chucky might have taken a few too many hits because Barkov said that, he's not going to lay off any hits. I've seen him up close long enough now, something to that effect. Yeah, Ben and Chucky fight ends Cass Cubs hopes. Right? Hey, Ethan, appreciate that. Yeah, all of that was sent by fans of the channel. A lot of that was sent by Jameson. A lot, especially the Western Conference stuff has been sent by Jameson. Some of that's from MJ. There's a few other people that have sent. Now the hats, the Eastern Conference hats I bought for the most part. I bought those over the summer. I can't afford the Western Conference. It was a lot of money. The hats are at least $20 a piece. So yeah, the Eastern Conference hats I bought, but the jerseys, for the most part, that's all stuff that you guys have sent me. It's still good. It's still nice to have all that stuff. Although I forgot to put the Kings jersey on. I got a nice Kings jersey, and Coconut Head over here forgot that, and I wasn't going to reshoot the shot because I filmed it yesterday and edited it this morning. Imagine on the second line, Svechkov, Bennett, Tkachuk. I like Samoskevich there, though. I really do. I mean, I get it. Right? I guess if he did something like that. But Canes aren't going to do that. Kenneth says, as much as I love the Boston one, I think the Philly personality is the best. Yeah. That was real, though, Kenneth. That wasn't staged. I couldn't get the cap off the cognac bottle. It wouldn't come off. I was worried that I was gonna, open it up and it was gonna explode all over my jacket. Chopper says, I had the perfect solution for our cup run. Trade Ekblad to Buffalo in a 26-22 for Bowen Bryman and Ryan McLeod. And McLeod was on the Oilers' last cup run. I mean, would Buffalo do that? I mean, that's the thing with Ekblad is what's Ekblad's value in the rest of the world? Right? What's Ekblad's value in the rest of the hockey world? Damien says no. Is Ekblad a piece for another? And plus, Buffalo would have to know they're never going to sign Ekblad, right? Ethan says, I don't know if Buffalo we'd have to sweeten the pot a little bit. They'd have to know that they couldn't re-sign Ekblad. He ain't signing to Buffalo. trade Ekblad. Then he comes back the next year with us, 8 times 2. Give him a first instead of a second. No, I doubt very sure. I mean, Buffalo would be one of the teams that would maybe help us out. But Ekblad's not going anywhere. I mean, in terms of being traded this year. Most likely, Bennett stays, Ekblad stays. Nobody gets traded really out. We're going to make some minor deals. We don't have a lot of assets to handle around. I don't know why we're looking at Tarasenko. Unless, like I said at the beginning of the stream, if you put Tarasenko on the third line, then you can move Boquist to Rodriguez down to the fourth. But I don't know that that's a benefit other than making the fourth line a little bit better. I don't know. Chopper says, hey, we need our farm team to give us some stuff, right? Pente says, Bennett is a must keep, but if he asks too much, let him walk. Well, it just depends, right? Hey, Mr. Vids. Bennett is the $6 million guy. I agree. But if he wants 7 and he'll do 5 years, I'll pay him. I'm more concerned with the term than the per on Bennett. That's more of a concern for me because of the physical style that he plays. I would overpay to keep him because he definitely extends the cup window. You lose Bennett, you lose a part of our identity. You lose a part of what we do. And I just don't know that that's worth squabbling with him over $1 million here or there with the cap going up so much. Ethan says, what happened to, I thought I like Giles. He's just not quite ready. You know, I mean, some of these guys, like last year with Samoskevich. If the Panthers were a bottom feeder, Samoskevich probably makes the team last year and he just develops. Same thing with Giles. But you're talking about these guys got to be ready to play Stanley Cup level. You know, they got to be ready to go for sure. And you see the difference now. Samoskevich obviously good to go. Giles is still just that year away. Oh, would I trade for Kadri? I can't imagine what Calgary would want. Calgary would be like, give us back Kachuk. No, Pente, I don't think so. With Samoskevich, no. He fits what we do too much. I mean, Zito drafted the perfect kid to be able to come in. You're talking about we're going to have a guy that's going to be making what? Even if we overpay him. Even if we overpay him because he's an RFA. Even if you overpay him and give him $3 million, you give him 2 years at $3 million. Being able to have that kind of a contract in the top 6. I mean, give him another, give him the rest of this year and off season and all the experience from the playoffs playing with Bennett and Kachuk. It's just so valuable to have those guys together. Hey, Simon. Well, I don't have score predictions, but I would assume I don't think it's going to quite be all-star gamey. I don't think you're going to get like 7-5. Maybe it might be more 5-4 than 2-1, right? There's a lot of offensive talent out there. The goalies, and don't forget, we saw this with Bob when Bob King. You can have the best goalie in the world out there, but if they're not completely used to the defensive system that's being played, some pucks are going to get behind guys that normally wouldn't. It took Bobrovsky a little while, and especially once Maurice got here, for him to really settle down. So I would expect games to be 4-3, 5-4. I don't think you're going to see much in the way of shutouts and stuff like that. Yeah, Kadri, no, thank you. I see that contract, right? Yeah, Simon, we're treating all the Four Nation games just like Panther games. So there'll be streams, there'll be recaps. We're still live every day at noon. There's no stoppage there. We're treating all those games just the same way we would Panther games. So that should be fun. I got to figure out intros for those games. Well, there's Panthers in every game, right? So that gives me something to play with. It's a shame I didn't get the chicken chuck sooner, man. Damn it. First game's tomorrow. Never going to get it for tomorrow. Never going to get it for tomorrow. Damn. Damien, no. Was it up in the chat? I'm getting ready to go. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, Damien. Let me look here real quick now. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Imagine we got who? It's an emoji. I can't see what it is, man. You said, imagine we get, and is that a traffic cone? I don't know what that is. It said Panthers trade Ekblad. Oh, I see. Okay, we get lit and said Panthers trade Ekblad and a second round pick to Carolina for Svechnikov and a second round pick. I mean, I don't think Canes would do it, right? I don't think the Canes would do it. That's the thing. Yeah, we get alert. Gotcha, Damien. Gotcha. My eyes, those emojis, it gets tough. It gets tough even with the glasses to see. Yes, Barkov against Kachuk. That's going to be fun too. Yeah. All right, everybody. I got to roll. I got to get Kyle to the gym. I promised to get him to the gym. Members podcast. It'll be a little bit later than normal today. It's recorded, but I still got to produce it. But I want to get him to the gym. And you guys got the other content to watch. Go watch the skit video. I appreciate everybody that watches those. It takes me 4 hours to do those. It takes me an hour to write the script, an hour to record, 2 hours to edit. I wish it didn't take so much time. I don't know how Tom Grossi does it. I don't know how he does it. So appreciate all the support, and we will see you tomorrow at noon, and then tomorrow night with the Four Nations. Ciao.